Let's develop some intuitions behind adding and subtracting negative numbers. And in particular, let's answer a question, why is 5 take away negative 3 would be equal to 8? Some of you might have learned at school that minus and minus gives plus, so like two minuses give plus. Let's see why this rule actually makes sense. Now, some people would write the very same thing as 5 minus minus 3. And of course, that math would work out exactly the same way, and you would have 8. And sometimes they would put brackets around the negative number, but it's just not very helpful for our particular understanding. So let's, instead of this notation, use minus above the number to say that it's negative, and we'll still use the brackets. So 5 take away negative 3 will be written like this. So one of the values of math is that it's particularly good at describing some of our real life situations, and in return we can use the real life situations to help us understand math. So let's say that you have your life, something like this. And let's say you bring into it something positive, like an ice cream. So you add to it an ice cream. And if you add an ice cream to it, which is something positive, your life will become more positive. Now, if you take the very same life, I'll actually even just copy that life that you have to just show you that it's exactly the same life. Nothing extra, nothing less. And now you add into it something negative. So let's say you played football and you hurt your leg, and so now it's got a cast. So you have this thing on your head. Oh, sorry, on your leg, of course. And there's your thumb sticking out of there. And let's say this is something new in your life. And if you add this negative thing, your life becomes more negative. So if you now want to take away the same things, let's see what will happen. So I'm taking the same life and the same ice cream and the same life and the same cast. And now instead of adding it, I will take them away. So we take away an ice cream from your life, and of course it will become more negative, because you remove something positive from it. But following the similar logic, if you take away something negative from your life, like a cast, it becomes more positive, because a negative thing is removed. So here's our specific examples. Now let's actually assign some value to our life and transfer the same ideas with using numbers. Okay, now let's assign some value to your life and all the good and bad things you have. So let's say it can be negative and positive, and the more negative it is, the worse it is, the more positive it is, the better it is, and 0 will be like neutral. Meh, like not good, not bad, it's alright. So let's say now you have your life currently at level 5, and you add to it something positive like an ice cream. And let's say an ice cream gives you 3 points, so it makes your life better by 3 points. And of course, if you make it better by 3, it should become now 5 plus 3, 8. But we also learned that life plus cast, so something negative, should give you a more negative life. So if we take the very same life and we add to it a negative number 3, and I will put brackets around it to make it easier to see that it's a negative number, then that 5 should be reduced by 3 because the life should become more negative. So we start with 5 and then we go down 3. 1, 2, 3. So now it should be at level 2 because of that cast. So our life now is at level 2. So we've been adding positive as well as negative things. Let's see now what happens when we subtract them. So we already agreed that if you take away something positive from your life becomes more negative. And if you take away something negative from your life, like a cast, your life becomes more positive. So let's now use the numbers to show how exactly it will change. So your life, again, let's say it's at level 5, and you take away something positive. You take away a positive 3. And then your life should become more negative. By how many points? By 3. So we'll start from 5 and then go down by 3 points. 1, 2, 3. It should be at level 2. Now, if you finally have your life at level 5 and you take away a negative factor, a cast, you take away a negative 3, your life should become more positive. So it should become 3 more positive than 5. So if we had more numbers here, we would go 6, 7, 8. Actually, let me draw them here for you. 6, 7, 8. And that should be enough for us. So we started with 5 and then we upgraded our life by 3 points by removing a negative thing. So 1, 2, and 3 ends up at 8. So our life now is more positive with a value of 8. Now what we just found is that adding a negative number is equivalent to subtracting a positive number. Notice that it's the same, but it's equivalent. And adding a positive number is equivalent to subtracting a negative number. Both of these operations give a result of 2, and both of these give us 8. Okay, so what happens if your life is already negative? Well, exactly the same logic should apply. Let's say your current level of life is -5, so it's pretty bad, but you add into it something positive. Then it should become more positive. So if you start from -5 and you add that ice cream with a value of 3, it should become more positive by 3 points. So -5 and you add 3, 1, 2, 3, you should end up at your life at level -2. So -2. Now if your life has been as negative as it was before -5 and you add to it something negative like a cast which brings it down by 3 points, you will end up with -6, -7, -8 life level. Because we went down by 3 points. So it becomes even more negative at -8. And if you take away something positive, like an ice cream, it should also become more negative. So it will become -6, -7, and -8. So -8. And finally, if you take away a negative thing from your life, it should become more positive. From -5, it would go up by 3 points, making it more positive. 1, 2, 3, -2.